Good evening and welcome to the...
There we go. Good evening and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of April 8th, 2014. Ms. Borak, please call the roll.
Committeeman Delcourt?
Here.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Here.
Committeeman Sirachi?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Here.
Mayor Thompson?
Here. Please join me in a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be advised that in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Publics Meeting Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, that notice of this meeting was made by the posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on April 8th, 2014. First up is the approval of the minutes, and that is the approval of the February 25th, 2014 regular session minutes. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 25th, 2014 regular session?
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcourt?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Committeeman Sirachi?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Abstain. Approval of the February 25th, 2014 executive session minutes. May I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Committeeman Delcourt?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes.
Committeeman Sirachi?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Abstain. Moving on to reports from committee liaisons. Committeeman Delcourt.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things from me. First of all, the New Jersey Forest Fire Service is anticipating to conduct a prescribed burn at Duke Farm this weekend, where they'll burn up to about 90 acres with the primary objective to reduce the hazardous accumulation of some dead vegetation and other materials in the fields that can become tinder as we get into the hotter, drier months. So the method is to reduce the likelihood of wildfires later in the season, also to reduce the intensity of the fires if they did occur, and it promotes a safer, more effective fire suppression process. They also have a benefit in that it does help promote natural native grasses and wildflowers, resulting in a healthier habitat. So there's usually a very small window that these processes can take place. Normally this early spring time is about the time we can do it. So you may see some of that this coming weekend. There'll be a reverse 911 service with local and county emergency to make sure that residents are aware of the burn process. Road signs may be put up. You may see them on the road to advise motorists. Each burn would only take about 20 minutes. It burns pretty quickly and extinguishes itself just as quickly. And we'll have, of course, our fire crews will scout out the area afterwards to make sure that there's no lingering effects or any hot spots or sparks that could create a bigger issue. So if you smell a little burning over the weekend, it is planned, it will be monitored, and will be done safely, but it does help later on to ensure that we don't have a worse problem later on. And also, just a reminder, our cultural arts group will be doing their art show. It's going to be held on May the 5th, and it's a Friday evening where we'll do the unveiling and the judging of the art. That will be held in the multi-purpose room. We get schools from all around the area that participate with students, so it's usually a great event. Tremendous art that gets posted in there, so anyone that would like to attend. The art's usually in the room from Wednesday until Saturday or Sunday, but the actual judging and the event, as well as the new portrait unveiling, will be on May the 5th. So look forward to seeing everyone there. Thank you.
Thank you, Committeeman. Committeewoman McCauley.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. First, I'm sure you'll be talking about this, Mayor, but I wanted to say that we attended the event on Saturday morning for Run Around the Park and Vans Middleworth. It was a very well-attended event. Thank you to Parks and Rec for putting that on. It was very windy and cold that morning, but I just want to say congratulations to Committeeman Delcor and to Deputy Mayor Burchett for being brave enough to run the 5K. I'm not a runner myself, but they did a great job and finished with a pretty good timing, I think it was. So.
You represented the township.
You definitely did. Oh, I'm sorry, Pam Borick,
And-
clerk over here also ran too. So. But it was a very nice event. I wanted to say it was a good time. Also, this past weekend, on Saturday night, for those of you who didn't hear about the Hillsborough Joes versus the NFL Pros, the scoring points for kids are here. Our Municipal Alliance, our Life Skills, and Borough Safe put on a great event Saturday night. It was really fun. Again, I don't play basketball, but we had some practices, and I didn't think I looked that bad, but, you know, we got through it, and it was a really, really great fundraiser, and thank you again to Life Skills and Municipal Alliance for putting that on and having such a great turnout. Quick few updates. I want to congratulate Lieutenant Darren Powell of our Hillsborough Township Police Department. He recently graduated from the FBI Academy. He's a 20-year veteran with our township here. Recently completed a 10-week comprehensive training program at the Academy in Quantico. Only 1% of law enforcement professionals worldwide are selected by the Bureau, and we want to congratulate him. Good job. Public Works update. I just wanted to remind everybody that the coupons for the Auten Road facility for cleanup being issued still for April on the dates of the 12th, the 26th. In May, it's the 3rd, 17th, and 31st. Beginning June, ending through September, it will be offered for the first and last Saturdays of the month. And you can visit our website for that information if you need clarification. Proof of residency is required, and the drop-off site is open, rain or shine. And just be aware, because I know electronics are always a big question here, they are not accepting electronics or hazardous materials, so you contact the county for that if you need to get rid of those things. You can pick up tickets here at the facility on East Mountain Road or here at the main office. Clean Community Day. It's our 5th Clean Community Day, I'm proud to announce. I think I was here at the first one. I attend them every year. We receive a grant for clean communities here in the township, and we use part of those funds to hold this event. It will be on April 26th from 9 to 12. It's usually a very good turnout for the community. It's in conjunction with Earth Day. And this year we'll continue our roadside event. Last year we did a couple of cleanup things in different areas. We'll go back to the roadside cleanup. The event will start here at the Township Building, again 9 a.m. on April 26th. Sorry. So I hope you all join us. If you need further information, you can sign up at the DPW department. That email is dpw@hillsborough-nj.org. Just a reminder for road construction, I know there's a lot of detours out there right now. The Weston Canal Bridge is closed. We have part of 601 that will be closed from April 14th through the 28th. That will be closed by the railroad tracks. This is in conjunction, again, with the part that's closed on Montgomery Road. So please plan accordingly, follow the instructions, and it'll be a little challenging for a couple of weeks, but we'll get through it. And lastly, we have a shredding event. The county starts this every year, and there's other events throughout the year, but if you have anything, documents you need to get rid of, it is being held this Saturday, April 12th. It's being sponsored by the Somerset County Board of Chosen Freeholders, and it will be at the County Public Works on 410 Roycefield Road. So we hope that if you need that facility, it's usually a great event. A lot of people attend it. They usually have pounds of, I remember last year what the number was, but it was quite significant. So if you need that kind of cleaning up, it'll be this Saturday. And that's all for me, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Sriracha.
Thank you, Mayor. A few recreation updates. Just wanted to add on to what Committeewoman McCauley mentioned with regards to Run Around the Park. I just wanted to publicly congratulate and thank the Parks and Rec Department for putting together our first run. It was definitely most certainly a success. We had 150 runners, and it also doubled as a collection for the food banks. I know we did collect many items for the food bank, so looking forward to doing and seeing it next year. Summer camp registrations, they began actually this morning on the Recreation Department's website. Camps will be returning to Auten Road and Amsterdam schools for the 5 to 11-year-olds, which means they're getting air conditioning. So that's very important to know that those two schools or locations are air conditioned. So again, more information can be found on the Recreation Department's website. Spring programs, those are still ongoing. for many of the programs, which include Tiny Soccer, Soccer 101, Tiny Wiffle Ball, Tiny Football, got a theme running here, Biddy Basketball, and then we also have basketball skills and drills for the older kids. So we can learn more details on those programs, and where to sign up is on the Recreation website. Moving over to social services, we had another first-time event. We had the first senior pool tournament held at our senior activities room. I'm going to assume it was a friendly competition. Excellent. No cue sticks were broken, but it was double elimination 8-ball, and it was over the course of 2 days. And just wanted to congratulate Ed Burton as the winner of the tournament. And there will be additional social services events which can be found again on the website or on their monthly calendar that they release. And lastly, I just wanted to announce the third annual Superintendent's Gallery celebrating excellence in the arts. The gala reception and award ceremony will be held in the multipurpose room on Friday, April 25th. Please see the school district website for additional details. And you can actually get to see some of the artwork if you go down the hallway towards the Board of Ed offices. We have a lot of the students' artwork already on display. And that's all I have this evening, Mayor.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Burchett.
I've got two things. The Hillsborough CAN Community Assistance Network, or also known as our food pantry, is looking for help. Things like stocking shelves, checking dates, that kind of thing. So if yourself or your organization can help out, please give the Social Services Department a call at 908-369-3880 for more information and also for volunteer opportunities. The engineering department is going to be out for the next couple of weeks checking sidewalks. So if you see somebody walking around in suits, or maybe not in suits, but some official-looking people walking around the neighborhood, they're checking out the sidewalks. The town's responsible for the sidewalk, but they're not responsible from the sidewalk to the street. That is the homeowner's responsibility. So anyways, keep an eye out. The engineers will be out in the next couple of weeks. That is all, Mayor.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. A few things this evening. First up, as many of you probably have seen last Wednesday's e-news and again on Fridays, I want to remind everyone that there'll be a public information form regarding a private developer's application for a proposed restaurant with off-track wagering, or OTW, at the former Maestro's 206 Bar and Restaurant located at 150 Route 206 South. The forum, which is open to all residents of our township, will be held here in the multipurpose room, or over there, on Wednesday, April 16, 2014, from 7 to 9 p.m. To provide a brief history on this topic, in February of 2011, the New Jersey legislature created a new process for granting or the denial of an OTW facility. As long as that facility is proposed to be located in an industrial or commercial zone, as the property of Route 206 South is, the decision to grant or deny an OTW rests solely with the New Jersey Racing Commission and the Attorney General of our state, not the municipality. Such facilities are considered permitted uses under state law. Therefore, there is no longer any veto power on behalf of the Township Committee of Hillsborough. Or in short, as I like to point out, the state took our home rule away. In an effort to educate the public prior to the New Jersey Racing Commission hearing so that they'll be able to address the commission appropriately, the following parties will be at the hearing to answer questions related to the law, the application process, and the proposal. I will be there along with Committeeman Frank Delcourt, Assemblyman Jack Chittarelli, Police Chief Paul Kaminsky, representatives of Darby Development and Monmouth Park Racetrack, along with our attorneys and counsel. This is the opportunity for the public to ask their questions, get as many facts as possible about the process before the hearing takes place. Additionally, I'm very happy to announce that we've been working with our legislative team in District 16, Senator Bateman, Assemblyman Jack Chittarelli, and Assemblywoman Donna Simon. And later on this agenda, we will consider a resolution calling upon the state legislature to repeal the 2011 law and reinstate home rule that we expect to have. One side note, I just want to reiterate it again, that Wednesday hearing is not the Racing Commission hearing. We have no date of when that'll take place. We've been told May, but again, we don't know when it is yet. As soon as we will know, we will publicize it. I believe the only piece of information that we do have is confirmation that they will hold it in the evening which is something that we sent a letter in requesting that they will do. So that's a quick little update on that. Moving on to Memorial Day. It's a reminder that Saturday, May 24th, is our annual Salute to Veterans Breakfast, Memorial Day Parade, and Garden of Honor ceremonies. Nonprofit organizations who wish to participate in the parade can register online through the Parks and Recreation website. I am also honored tonight to announce our Grand Marshals for this parade, which is a father and son team of Chris and John Conroy, who will lead our veterans on the parade route. Chris is a longtime Hillsborough resident and Air Force veteran who served in the 1960s as a nuclear weapons specialist with the 75th Fighter Interceptor Squadron at Dow Air Force Base in Maine. His son John, a Hillsborough High School graduate in 2000, is a captain assigned to the 52nd Airlift Squadron, Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs, Colorado, as a C-130 pilot. We are honored to have both the Conroys as our Grand Marshals in the parade, and I look forward to everyone attending that to honor them and all of our veterans. Registration forms are going out shortly, and you can also sign up through our town's website, which should be going up this week with a link. I'm also pleased to announce this evening that Hillsborough will be hosting the next Meet the Mayor series on Wednesday, June 4th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at Roysport Country Club. This event is sponsored by the Somerset County Business Partnership, and the registration fee is $35 per person. The event will feature mayors from Hillsborough, Montgomery, Rocky Hill, Millstone, and Franklin Township. The Meet the Mayor series is a community program to help local business leaders build stronger networking relationships with each other and the mayors. The target audience for the event includes business owners and executive level managers throughout the county. Also, a reminder about the Legal Runaround. The 9th annual Legal Runaround 5K Run and 3K Walk will be held on May 22nd, 2014. As I mentioned previously, Hillsborough has been challenged to compete for the Healthiest Town Award at the Legal Runaround 5K, 3K Walk, sponsored by the Somerset County Bar Association. So if you're interested and you're a walker and you want to get healthy, please visit our e-news or our website to register for that event. And last but not least, this evening, between now and our next meeting, the holidays of Passover and Easter will occur, and I want to wish all those who celebrate to have a happy and safe holiday. Next up, we have our proclamations, and first up is declaring...
Mayor?
Yep,
I'm sorry. Were you going to address the rating?
You know what?
Okay.
You know, if you would like to start on that, you could absolutely do that. I did skip over that, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Actually, very pleased to announce tonight that Hillsborough has been, as a municipality, we have a bond rating. We do have a bond. Standard & Poor's, which is one of the couple of premier rating agencies in the world, has upgraded Hillsborough's rating 2 notches to a AA+, which is basically 1 notch below AAA, the best you could have. And it's an outstanding process. Their rationale was the financial management that we've had in the township, our outstanding liquidity, their words, not mine, and the overall budget process that we have in town. So it's really a tremendous honor. It shows that not just here in town, but those that are looking at us from afar have looked at Hillsborough and have deemed it to be a pretty solid credit risk. So it's important for a number of reasons. It certainly will lower our interest costs. It creates a vision of stability, which, of course, I think we recognize, but it's nice to have that validated from outside sources. So AA+ is just about as good as we can get. And by the way, it's the same rating right now that the United States government has. Depending upon your view of the U.S. economy, that may or may not be a good thing. We have, we're the equivalent of the full faith and credit of the U.S. government. So that still stands for a lot. And very pleased to announce that. So thank you, Mary.
No, thank you. And just to piggyback on that, while the state credit rating has been decreasing and threatened with decrease, it's just another example of the hard work that you, Frank, and also Carl, as being on our liaisons for financial for so many years now. It's just a credit to you guys too. So thank you for all years of leadership on that, because this is a big deal. And I hope everyone recognizes that when everyone else is going down, Hillsborough is going up in terms of our credit rating. So thank you both for all your efforts over the years. I appreciate that.
Just a
With
quick-
that-
Can I just
Yep.
make a quick
No,
note? I just want to
please.
say our CFO's in the back of the room, Nancy Haberly. I wanted to say thank you to all her work too, because I know sometimes we drive her nuts. And it's all due diligence, and I'm Judy Haas, old administrator back there, shaking your head yes. But I just wanted to say thank you for all your hard work too, because it's a group effort.
No, thank you. Yes, thank you, Nancy. We do appreciate it. Anyone else on that? Good. Okay. Next up, we're going to do proclamations, and first up is declaring April as National Autism Awareness Month. Would all the recipients please join me in the front of the room? Okay. Whereas autism is a progressive development disorder affecting the social, communication, and behavioral skills of those affected by it, and whereas as more health professionals become proficient in diagnosing autism, more children are being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, resulting in rates as high as 1 in 68 children nationally and 1 in 45 in New Jersey. And whereas, while there is no cure for autism, it is well documented that if individuals with autism receive treatment early in their lives, it often is possible for those individuals to lead significant improved lives. And whereas individuals with autism often require a lifetime of specialized and community support services to ensure their health and safety and to support families' resilience as they manage the psychological and financial burdens autism presents. And whereas organizations and individuals such as Governor Chris Christie, Lieutenant Governor Kim Guadagno, Autism New Jersey, Autism Speaks, Bella Vita Coaching Services, Brilliant Brains, Paul Gubitosu Charitable Foundation, Hair Plus Salon, Hillsborough Board of Education Special Services Department, Hillsborough's Department of Parks and Recreation, Hillsborough's Police Department, Hillsborough's Rescue Squad, Hillsborough Rotary Club, Hillsborough Volunteer Fire Companies number 1, number 2, and number 3, Knights of Columbus, Neshannock Fire Company, Office of Emergency Management, Organization for Autism Research, ShopRite of Hillsborough, Somerset County Sheriff's Department, Somerset County Special Olympics, and the Somerset County Park Commission's enhanced awareness through our community. And whereas these groups and individuals also help fund research, offer resources and opportunities to those affected by autism, and educate families, professionals, and the general public to better understand this lifelong disability, now therefore be proclaimed that we, the Mayor and Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough, hereby declare April as National Autism Awareness Month and vow to continue to support programs dedicated to Hillsborough's special needs community. Signed by myself and the rest of the Township Committee.
I'd like to start by thanking Mayor Thompson for proclaiming April Autism Awareness Month in Hillsborough. I'm Belkey Ortiz-Malilli. I am a Hillsborough resident, business owner, and a mother of a child with autism. We would like to dedicate today's proclamation to Jill Russo, an unforgettable teacher's assistant at Woods Road Preschool Disabled Program, who has recently passed away. Jill was actually the first assistant to work in the program that started in 1993. She changed the lives of many of the students and families she worked with. She also left a special mark in mine. Jill was a very special lady whose smile I don't think any person that knew her would ever forget. So on this day, we remember Jill for all that she has done and the lives that she has touched. Thank you, Jill.
I know that we have some of Jill's family here, so I just want to thank you for sharing her with our township for all those years. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Thompson and Belkey as well. I just wanted to say a quick thank you to some of the outstanding people and organizations you have here. It's been years that we just keep seeing the amount of volunteers and organizations grow here in Hillsborough, and we're extremely lucky for that. So again, I want to thank the hard work and the endless hours of the people up here and the people that were mentioned in the proclamation, because as the mayor has mentioned, 1 in 68 children nationally, if you think of that, 1 in 45 here in New Jersey, and 1 in 28 as it relates to boys. So it's the hard work of the individuals up here that take the time and understanding and caring compassion that we have in Hillsborough. And again, we're extremely lucky to have the folks up here. So thank you, Mayor and Township Committee, for recognizing April's Autism Awareness Month, and for the great people here. Let's give them a hand for all the amount of hours they put in. Really get close together, guys.
Okay, we have one more proclamation this evening, and that is for the library. Is anyone here from the library? Come on down. Whereas librarians are the heart of their communities, campuses, and schools, and whereas librarians work to meet the changing needs of their communities, including providing resources for everyone and bringing services outside of our library walls, and whereas libraries and librarians bring together community members to enrich the shape the community and address local issues, and whereas librarians are trained, tech-savvy professionals providing technology training and access to downloadable content like ebooks, and whereas librarians offer programs to meet community needs, providing residents with resume writing classes, 24/7 homework help, and financial planning services to teens applying for student loans and to older adults planning their retirement. And whereas libraries continuously grow and evolve in how they provide for the needs of every member of their communities. And whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now therefore be it proclaimed that we, the Mayor and Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough, hereby proclaim April 13th to the 19th, 2014 as National Library Week. Be it further proclaimed that we, the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough, encourage all residents to visit the Hillsborough Public Library this week of April 13th to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available, and thank the library and its workers for making information accessible to all who walk through their doors. Thank you, and congratulations.
Hi, I just want to thank the township for all their wonderful support for all of these years. I just reached my 25 years last week on April 1st with the Somerset County Library System at the Hillsborough Library, and it's been an amazing, amazing journey. And I see kids now that are now having children coming to my youth services program, so it's just so rewarding. And again, thank you to the township, the community, to our board members, to my wonderful director who couldn't be here tonight, and to our system. And that's what I want to say. Anyone else?
Thank you for 25 years. That's great, thank you. Were you by the A&P? Okay, I remember, that's where I got my card. I remember going there and loved it there, so.
Judy gave them to us last year, our gold cards.
Well, maybe that's right, and we have gold cards too. Thank you all.
Thank you.
All being here this evening, and once again, congratulations. I will not be offended if you'd like to leave right now. We understand. Kaz will take a quick 5 minutes. We're good? Okay. Next, I invite Dr. Jordan Schiff, Superintendent of the Hillsborough School District, to present the school budget this evening. Dr. Schiff, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me to share with you our school tentative budget for next year. This is a presentation that I gave to the Board of Education prior to. It has some very minor edits. The board is currently in the process of determining what its final budget is going to look like, but this kind of gives you an overall sense of where we are at this point. Our budget calendar, our process begins in October with the principals, department heads submitting a tentative budget to myself and our business administrator. At that point in time, we begin to make reductions, additions, we ask some difficult questions, and begin to put the budget together. In January, I submit the budget request to the Board of Education. The board reviews the budget in committee. The budget is divided into 3 different areas: the education section, operations, and human resources section. Each of the board members who are responsible for their committee assignments reviews and vets the budget. On February 27th, we received state aid, and that makes it clear what our revenue side of our budget is going to look like. Then on March 1st, which is a Saturday, the operations committee meets for a half day or a full day to develop what the tentative budget is going to look like. On March 10th, I gave this presentation to the board, sharing with them what the tentative budget was. And then from mid-March to April 28th, we have discussions, and then we'll vote on the final budget at a public hearing in either the high school auditorium or Aris Auditorium. This is what the budget funds currently. We are moving forward with our strategic planning initiatives. One of the strands of our strategic planning pillars is the moving forward with world languages. 2 years ago, we started Mandarin Chinese at the elementary level. Last year, or current year, we articulated that up into Aris Intermediate School. Our plan for next year is to complete the articulation in the middle school and add Chinese 2 at the high school. We currently have about 30 or 40 children starting Chinese in grade 5, and our world language program at the intermediate and middle school level now requires that they stay in that language for 4 years, with the idea that they can begin as freshmen with a level 3 class of the language that they're interested in. kind of leveling up our expectations in that particular area. We're also in a very large one-to-one initiative, which allows our students to have computers. Excuse me, I apologize. Yes, that's my wife asking me to come home right now, so let me finish up relatively quickly. We're very proud of where we are with our one-to-one initiative. Currently, we have 20% of our students in grades 5 through 12 have a Chromebook. The work that we have done started 3 years ago in 3 classes, only about 40 kids in the entire district. We are now at 20%, and we anticipate moving that forward into, and the board is now considering moving forward with a full one-to-one grade 5 through 12. We haven't decided exactly what that's going to look like because we're right in the middle of our budget discussions. But the work that we've been doing in the one-to-one has caught the eye of Google. Google selected us as the district of choice to pilot their Google for Education software. And as a result of allowing us to pilot that and give the Google technicians and engineers our feedback, the district was given 3,000 Nexus 7s, which are individual tablets, plus $100,000 to purchase apps on that. So we were very appreciative with them, and we formed a cooperative and a collaborative partnership with them, and some very interesting work is currently being done. And much of the Google Education apps is being influenced by the work that they did right here in Hillsborough. We're currently preparing for PARC, which is a new national assessment that determines how well our students perform on the Common Core state standards. That, by the way, is an online assessment. And we're very proud of our of implementing our Energy Savings Improvement Plan, or commonly called an ESIP. What that does, it allows us to do large capital projects and pay for it with the energy savings that is generated through those projects. We are now looking at approximately $16 million worth of capital projects that the cost does not have to be passed along to the local property taxpayers. Again, it's going to be paid for by the energy savings that is generated. So we're very pleased with that. I want to spend a couple minutes on the tax levy and what the cap is. The cap is in 3 different areas. The first is the 2% increase from the general tax fund levy from last year, which is about $1.6 million. The second part is what's called banked cap. And what bank cap is every year that you do not go to cap, you can actually bank those monies. We currently have about $2.9 million in our banked cap. There's also waivers for excessive increases in health care, and we qualify for a $482,000 waiver as well. The tentative budget comes in at $1.3 million to remain in the banked cap. Very quickly, our levy is going up by about 4.3%. You can see the 2 tax levies here. This, by the way, is for Hillsborough. Our proposed rate is 1.536 on $100 of assessed property value. Now, since we are going through annual reassessments, the way that you determine what your school tax would be is you divide your assessed value of your home by 100, multiply it by that coefficient, and that will give you your school tax. In Millstone Borough, by the way, we are one district, but we also educate the children from Millstone, but they do have a separate tax levy and a separate tax rate. Their levy is going up by 5.36. This is actually by statute. We receive an algorithm that we need to multiply by the prior tax levy in order to come up with their future tax levy. Their rate is 1.525, and they would calculate their school tax the same way that our Hillsborough residents would. Major cost drivers in the budget are health care. We are currently anticipating and we're budgeting for approximately a 15% increase in health care costs. As those costs continue to rise double digits, that becomes a significant concern. We are funding our one-to-one initiative as well as growing our Mandarin Chinese program. We had unanticipated need for our special education services. So we're actually putting in 5 additional special education positions this year. We are also preparing for the PARC assessment. So PARC assessment requires online testing, which means that we would need computers for that. Of course, if we go to the one-to-one, we wouldn't need computers for Park. We also have big increases in energy moving forward as well, and lots of people are seeing that. And our fund balance, we typically spend about 97% of our budget from one year to the next. Last year, we actually spent about 98% of our budget, falling slightly short on our fund balance target. This year, we anticipate going above our fund balance target and being able to deposit additional monies into our surpluses. How are we managing these costs? Well, we've been making changes in our healthcare providers. We were in Horizon Private. We are going back into the state health benefits plan in order to enjoy some savings that way. We also negotiate with our teachers union and our administrators to change their base health care as well as increasing contributions as a result of new statute, Chapter 78. Do a great deal of shared services and cooperative purchasing. We have a very robust revenue generating program. We have a half-day kindergarten program, and a parent can pay for tuition to get into what's called our Children at Play program. And we're very pleased to announce that over the 3 years that we've done this, we will be generating revenue in excess of $500,000. That helps to offset other costs within the budget. This past year, we changed the starting time of the middle school just back 1/2 an hour. As a result of that, we were able to line up our tiers of busing, so the same bus can go from one school to the next as they pick up and drop off kids. That created a great deal of transportation efficiency, saving the taxpayers of this community over $1 million this past year. We also are working with Educational School Solutions, which is a group of healthcare professionals where children that have social and emotional needs can have their needs met in the district rather than sending those children out of district. That saved our taxpayers close to $250,000 this year alone. We are reducing our capital outlay, but we are funding large capital projects through the ESIP, as I explained before, as well as taking advantage of regular operating district grants, ROD grants. We will be doing 3 partial roofs this summer and another roof next summer, 40% of which will be picked up by the ROD grants. Now, in order to maintain the bank cap of $1.3 million, the board is currently considering reducing staffing requests and payment structure for our technology initiative, saving approximately $350,000, privatizing the nighttime custodial staff at a savings of about $700,000, and privatizing substitutes both daily and long-term at $250,000. And all of that adds up to $1.3 million that would remain in the bank. One of the reasons why our levy is going up is due to state aid. This is a chart that shows our state aid for fiscal year 2010 all the way out to next year's fiscal year as well. As you can see, in 2009, we were above 26 million. We have not reached that point over the previous 5 years. In fact, these past 3 years have remained relatively flat. So as costs continue to go up that are outside of the board's control, beyond 2%, our state aid is not keeping pace with that. Hillsborough Township Board of Education has had a long history of being fiscally responsible and conservative. What this chart shows is the budgetary cost per pupil, which is publicly available data that can be found on the Department of Education website, that shows how much the average in the state spends per pupil, how much like districts spend per pupil, and how much we spend per pupil. Now, you know you can't see that in the back, but basically we spend $1,100 less per pupil than both the average in the state as well as like districts. We also are conservative in our funding of administrative positions in our district. Our total administrative cost per pupil is about $300 below like districts and almost $350, $360 below the state average. That's total administrative cost per pupil. So what is our budget? Our tentative budget, general fund, is increasing by 2.79%. Grants and entitlements, which are federal grants for IDEA, which is for special education students, as well as Title I for poorer students. We are budgeting a decrease of about 17%. Our debt service is going down as well. Our total increase on the appropriation side is 2.27. Some key points: this budget doesn't only maintain programs, but it actually grows programs, and it focuses on our strategic planning priorities. We maintain $1.3 million in the bank cap. Board is going to be considering privatization of nighttime custodians and substitutes. However, they are continuing to talk about other options as we move forward. Again, this is a tentative, not a final budget. And we will be approving it on Monday, April 28th, and you are all welcome to attend that meeting. Thank you, and I'm prepared to answer any questions from the committee.
Thank you, Dr. Schiff. I appreciate it. I just have a couple questions. First, what happens if the board doesn't pass a budget on April 28th? I'm just curious, what's the process after that?
The Somerset County Executive Superintendent of Schools will then impose a budget.
And they have carte blanche, they can do whatever they want?
I have to read the statute, but it's a very rare situation that a board fails to approve their final budget. There's a lot of discussion that's going on. I certainly do have a great deal of faith in our board that as we get down to the end of the month, that we will iron out any differences and pass a final budget.
It's good to know. And then one question that I get a lot from residents of the township, and a little selfish question because I have kids coming up. With Park, I think there's a component where you're supposed to have full-time kindergarten. Maybe I've read that somewhere wrong. Is that something that we're looking at?
Well, the full-time kindergarten, I think, is wonderful, and I would love to see us move in that direction. But that requires a strategic planning priority to be developed. That requires stakeholders within the community to commit to it. Currently, we do not have room within our facilities to basically double the space for our kindergartners, and we'd need to think about that very carefully and how we would build in those additional costs. So we are coming to the end of our prior strategic plan, so we are beginning to think about those things that the board would like to focus in on in the next 5 years. I anticipate that full-day kindergarten may be one of those things.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from the committee?
Mr. Schiff, thanks for being here. I think it's always helpful to sort of share notes on the budgets. I recognize the difficulty in the process, but a couple questions for you. One is, you had mentioned the capital programs and the savings or the offset that you're able to generate from your energy savings to pay for the capital program. Could you just shed a little more light on sort of where you're seeing that efficiency being generated to be able to
Sure.
offset those capital costs?
Sure. In order to qualify for the Energy Savings Improvement Program, it's sponsored by the BPU. You have to have third-party verification of 2 audits that go on within every single school. So these auditors come through and they inspect the building, and they'll make a determination that your lights are not as energy efficient as they need to be. And once they determine what that is, they'll say, well, what's the payback on the energy savings? And if the payback is within a 15-year period of time, it is eligible to receive that type of ESIP funding. Now, you can go even for further out paybacks, but you would be kind of losing opportunities to save in other ways. And sometimes you get payback very quickly from boilers or from, roofs are not that great, but sometimes controls for HVAC systems and those type of things. And it is remarkable how much savings we can generate. And this is over a 15-year period of time. The board will be reviewing the recommendations from Honeywell, which is the company that we're currently working with. And we anticipate that those savings over a 15-year period of time will be close to $16 million.
That's just an
And
enormous
16
number,
million,
yeah.
and 16 million is monies that would have been raised through the levy to do these type of projects. So it's a remarkable way to finance it without increasing the taxes in the community.
Just one other question, and not so much budget-related, although you clearly talked about it. I'm just wondering, with the one-on-one programs that have already been in place and now you're looking to expand that really throughout, have you seen tangible, measurable outcomes as a result of the sort of the students that have been on the one-on-one versus not, and in order to allow you to think about expanding it to the full population?
We did an analysis, and we just completed it a couple months ago, where we looked at both qualitative and quantitative measures. We compared how well kids did in the one-to-one environment versus non-one-to-one. We looked at common assessments across multiple subject areas. And the results were mixed, honestly, the first year. We had survey data that we received from parents, from teachers, and from students. The survey data was not mixed. It was all very positive in terms of the effect of this on their learning, on kids' learning, on their organizational skills, on the richness of the communication that's going on. We have the ability now that kids are collaborating on different projects. Actually, on last night, the fourth graders from HES did a presentation, and the principal was talking about how at a master's level he was learning the sophistication of PowerPoint and how these 9, 10, and 11-year-olds are making presentations that would just blow your socks off. The data and the literature on how these one-to-one work basically says that it takes time to begin to see that type of academic improvement, because the computer is not curriculum. It's a tool. It's a tool like a book, an encyclopedia, a pencil, a paper. And to prepare our kids for the challenges that they're going to be facing as they leave our district. And some of the jobs don't even exist, right? You know, and if you think about the jobs that are available now that didn't exist 10 years ago, technology is moving so quickly, and it's really our fundamental responsibility to make sure that our kids are prepared. So we won't be having these kind of discussions 10 years from now. This is just going to be part and parcel of how children are learning. And by the way, we're not cutting edge on this. There are other districts, in fact, there are other states that are doing full one-to-one initiatives. It is very gratifying, though, to know that a company like Google is willing to invest $750,000 in us because they see that we're doing things well. And if I could also just mention, districts from around the state are now, and around the region, are now coming to Hillsborough, looking at what we're doing, or taking it back to their districts and duplicating it. About a month and a half ago, we had a one-to-one technology symposium, and some of you actually participated in that. And there were 27 districts from around the region that came to see what we were doing. And every day we're fielding questions, and people are writing about the things that we're doing. So it's a very exciting time.
Maybe we could figure out a way to charge the other districts for the knowledge.
Maybe soon, because we're always looking for those revenue-generating ideas, right?
Questions?
Just a quick kind of follow-up on the mayor's say about the vote. Does it require a supermajority, or is it a simple majority?
5.
Just 6-5. Okay. And I guess the other question is, because I know we harp on it when we do our budgets, unfunded mandates. How has that impacted?
In a big way. If we don't go one-to-one, we're going to need to purchase computers just to take the assessment of Park, and to purchase enough computers to test children from grades 3 through 12, which is much more testing that we're currently doing. Right now we test kids from 3 through 8 in grade 11. Now we would test another 1,800 students in the district. In order for us to purchase Chromebooks to take a test, it could cost in excess of $400,000. So, and that's one unfunded mandate. We have new teacher evaluation programs that cost tens of thousands of dollars to train, to purchase the software, to purchase the program. Not a dollar of additional funding came from the state for that. We did receive $10 per kid for Park, and that amounts to $72,000 when our anticipated cost would be close to $400,000. So it's not an unfunded mandate. I would say it's an underfunded mandate.
It's better than what we get. So.
Not much.
Anything else? No Scantron? They don't do Scantron anymore?
No field trip project?
None of
field
that?
strip
Jeez.
projectors? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Schiff. I do appreciate you doing this presentation for us. Thank you for that. So moving on to new business. There is no new business this evening, so we're going to move on to public comment on new business and matters not on the agenda. So if anyone would like to come up, now is your opportunity. We'll start on this side. Peter? Just before we start with public comment, I just want to mention that everyone's going to have one bite at the apple up here, so please keep your comments.
I do have several questions.
No, that's fine. I just one shot.
Peter O'Malley's 56 Wallace Boulevard. Last meeting we were here discussing.
If you could just speak into the microphone, thank you.
Last meeting we were here discussing the off-track wagering facility.
Yes.
There was a few residents here that asked and challenged you guys to do a little bit additional due diligence. I'm just asking if in the last 2 weeks there's been any additional due diligence to that type of facility regarding crime, regarding impact on our schools, regarding impact on our housing.
So I think, as you're aware, we announced this public forum, which is going to address many of those concerns. I know the police chief is currently reaching out to all the different departments to get hard data. I know at the last meeting we had the captain here who spoke about information when we called around to the different departments, but it was made clear that you wanted to see some physical stats. So that's something that the chief is reaching out for, and we'll be speaking more in depth on the 16th.
Okay. Just to give you a little bit, in a quick 30-minute internet search, there's been multiple attempted robberies at these facilities, as well in the last 10 years there's actually been a murder at one of these facilities over $3 day.
In New Jersey?
No, but I don't
Okay,
think that,
I just was just
that really
asking.
matters to the statistics.
Well, sure it does, because I recognize we're in a position where you'd like to paint this in a negative, but you asked us for data, we will provide it. Anecdotal stuff like that, while I understand why you want to present it, if it's not comparative, because we don't, was it an OTW, was it some other type
No,
of
it's
casino?
an off-track wagering
Okay.
facility. And multiple attempted robberies at off-track facilities, whether in New Jersey or somewhere else in our country, I think it's prevalent to the fact that it does take place at these facilities, and it has happened.
Well, again, we'll make sure we get the data, and the chief, we made it very clear that we want him to present that at the hearing. So that, again, the purpose of the hearing, and I can't stress this enough, is so that the residents have as much information as possible. Horse Racing Commission does come to the town, so that you can present to the Horse Racing Commission why you either want it in town or why you oppose it. It's all about education.
It's all about education, but there has been some comments made to me that it's also a way to educate our community in a way to fight this. I'm not sure if our goal is to fight this, why we're being so friendly to the corporation that's proposing this site and welcoming into a meeting that's supposed to be for our town residents, and really for our town residents either to oppose it or to accept it. I mean, it should be for our town residents, and it shouldn't be open to the guy that's coming here and with all due respect, flat out lied into many different scenarios and telling us that it's Wall Street clientele. In the last 2 weeks, I have visited the facility, and it's not Wall Street clientele. They also stated there's no loitering going on at the facility. I was there for a good period of time on multiple days. There's much loitering going on outside the place. It's not Wall Street clients. And I even found one gentleman sleeping in his car outside the facility.
Again, Peter, the reason I invited them and the reason I wanted them there is because they're going to be presenting to the New Jersey Horse Racing Commission with their application, and they're probably going to do a very similar presentation to what we saw. And I think it's appropriate that you have an opportunity, and other residents have an opportunity to question them on their application prior to the Horse Racing Commission, because again, some people might get their questions answered, or it might raise more questions. But again, I think it's more appropriate, and not to use the pun, but to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, because they're going to be here. So you might as well hear it directly from the individuals.
In the meeting, I think it was stated that the money from which you guys approved the pilot program was going to be afforded to the schools. I think in the press release that was provided by Assemblyman Chitterelli, Oh, that's not necessarily the case.
Oh, we didn't say
Yeah.
that. We said it.
It's on record.
No, we
Your attorney, or the gentleman that was from the planning board, it was specifically asked, and he said that that portion would go to the schools.
no, we said the exact opposite.
Okay, I watched the tape again. You guys have known about this since last December. You guys all stated in the meeting last time that you're not going to inform the public every time a new business comes into town. I'm just curious of why now in the last 2 weeks, we're having a public forum, we're putting a new fast track supposedly piece into the legislator to try to reverse that. Why wasn't that done back in December of 2013? Why wasn't there such a sense of urgency back then if now all of a sudden we're worried about our town and our town residents? If we'd known about this, there's actually a statement, and I'm not accusing this was a statement made to me, that potentially this was known as far back as July 2013.
That's just absolutely false.
Okay.
No, but
again,
you make sure you throw it on the record, though, so we understand. Look,
No,
no, you've
Okay,
now
so let's
said
take
there's a
that off.
murder. There was
There was.
a.
Okay. I'm not being disrespectful to
No,
anybody
but
here.
you're putting stuff on the record with no evidence or just purely anecdotal stuff. Let me give you the issue of the meeting process, right? We have a legal obligation to ensure that when there are applicants that come to town, and if they're lawful applicants, if they are conforming applicants, that we go through the same process we go through with them, that we go through with anyone else. That's to, one, be fair to the applicant, but also, two, frankly, to ensure that we're not being accused of discriminatory practices against any business or any type of applicant in advance of the process that we go through. So while I understand that you may want to know this sooner than you did, the fact of the matter is there's a process we have to go through. And we can't get into a situation where we know the individuals that are going to come up here and be against any type of applicant, be able to put information out sooner than we do with everyone else. At the time it was developed, an application was before us, we had a decision to make, we have a public hearing that we need to go forward with. That's the way the process has to work. And to indicate that we somehow should have indicated or had a public forum before we even knew what was to be presented would frankly be irresponsible on our part.
If the corporation that's bringing this facility to town is already putting their signage up and already putting banners up on the building.
They own the building.
And already hiring people, I think they've known about this and they've gotten the necessary permits in due time that you guys had an obligation a long time ago to make this more public than you did. Just my opinion. About 6 months ago, I was told, and I don't even know where this development is, the development back by Anvan Park, which I guess is a coordination between the town and the county as far as the development of that land. I guess at one time, there was some thought of a water park going in there. Is that accurate?
No.
There was never any discussion as far as a water park going into that facility? That the county was looking to put a water park in that facility?
There has been, in that location, we have a joint park that we're looking at. There were open forums with the public as to what types of activities, what types of park-related events or facilities people would like to have there. There was, I think, 3 of these public-type forums where people could come in and talk about that. One of the issues was a water park or a community pool or whatever you want to talk about, but that never gained traction as far as what was moving forward. That was discussed at the open forums.
Okay, so, and I'm pretty sure whether you guys, I'm assuming you guys were all on the committee at that time, were a part of the detraction of that type of facility in our town, not wanting unwanted outside residents in our town to a community pool that was for more than just Hillsborough, more to a county level. So if we don't want a water park, I'm pretty surprised that.
I'm sorry,
Well, no, I mean,
it had nothing to do with, it had nothing to do with
unwanted
with
residents
others
from
coming
outside?
in. First of
No?
all, the park itself is open to the county. It's a county park.
So we're good with an OTW, but we weren't good with a community pool.
I can take that if you don't mind. So I was part of that, and that's completely unfair. That was a design charrette that was put on by the residents as a, let's see what we like, and they had a bunch of, for lack of a better term, puzzle piece to see what it could possibly be. That park is going to progress in the years to come. So nobody ever said that we're going to have anything. It was the potential wish list of what it could potentially be. That was it. There was never anything other than a design that, hey, what would you like to see? That was it. There was nothing.
Right, but
finalized
the
at all.
point being is, I think your point is backwards. The desire to have a community pool was presented by the residents. It wasn't presented by the county and rejected by the residents.
Well, either way, I'm against having a community pool that would be open to all of Somerset County, just like I'm against having an OTW that's open to the entire state.
In our budget next month, we're going to contemplate a brick wall around the entire Hillsborough to ensure that we allow no one to come into town.
I don't think this is a laughing matter, and if you're looking to make jokes, I mean, I'm not up here being disrespectful to anybody, so if you're going to continue to make jokes, I think that's pretty disrespectful on your part. Whether it was people on the committee or the corporation that's coming in, they stated this is a restaurant first and an off-track wagering facility second. That's not accurate. I've been to the facility in Woodbridge multiple times. There's no one eating in that facility. They're all standing around talking about the next race, cursing about their horse losing. It's accurate. This is not based on me not wanting this here. This is based on me visiting the facility and seeing these people standing around.
I went to lunch there 2 Mondays ago, Monday after a hearing, and I was not alone having lunch. I just saying that for the record.
Percentage-wise, I can guarantee you, and I'd like you to be honest, that there was more people wagering than there were eating.
Yes, there were.
And that's my own
I
statement.
agree.
But your statement was that no one was there either.
Yeah, there were.
Okay, so,
That's unfair
but
as
again,
well.
with the corporation, and you guys didn't challenge it, the corporation said this was an eating establishment first and a wagering facility second. You allowed them to make that inaccurate statement.
What I encourage you to do, Peter, is at the hearing, on April 16th, I want you to stand up and I want you to ask them their numbers, how much they
We're not
bring
here
in
to
off of
address
that.
that, so be
I'm not going to talk about, I don't know what their physical numbers are, but at the meeting, I encourage you to stand up and ask them. And if they won't answer, they have to answer at the Horse Racing Commission hearing. So that's another opportunity where they'll have to answer you.
Is anybody on this committee willing to provide their position on this facility in our town?
I'm waiting to see the application. I have not seen the public application. Until I see the application, I'm not going to comment.
So again, in the last meeting, you guys stated that you did due diligence enough to understand this facility, yet we had the police make one phone call. I don't know what else has been done, but that was what was stated. A phone call was made, so I can only assume there was one phone call based on what was said in the last committee meeting. So at this point, you've done in the last meeting, what you guys considered enough due diligence to allow this to continue and to allow to pass the pilot program in the last meeting. So again, I'm going to ask one more time. Is there anybody on this committee that's willing to provide their position on this facility?
Peter, I don't want you to mischaracterize what we did at the last meeting. We passed a pilot program, so, no, it's, I don't think it is. We passed a pilot program because if we didn't pass a pilot program, they'd be taking these same steps and paying $0 in taxes to our municipality. That wasn't correct. And again, I've stated, until I see their application before the Racing Commission, they're not really coming to town. When they present their application to the Racing Commission, I'll be able to review it like every other resident, and I'm going to give my fair and honest opinion on it.
I think they're pretty confident that they're moving forward with what they've started to do at the facility.
That's fair, but again, I haven't seen their application that outlines everything that's going to be going on at that facility. And I think it's fair that I see that application before I weigh a judgment on what the state of New Jersey has taken our home rule on and said that it's a legal enterprise. And until we either get our home rule back or I see the application, I'm going to reserve my right to comment. I want to see what's in their application. I think you should too.
Okay, so again, there's no one that's willing to make a statement.
Here's what we have. We have a lawful, conforming business applicant that wants to come to town. There is no variances. There are no you can chuckle, it's the legal requirement we have. There are no variances. There's nothing that is, that requires any additional approval outside of the laws of Hillsborough, other than the fact that this has to go to the Racing Association. So just as we have to do on the planning board, and I sit on the planning board and have for the last 8 years, you evaluate the application on its merits. And unless there is an issue related to some public safety concern or some issue that could create some overriding factor, it's a conforming application. Now, we'll get the information. We told our chief is doing his due diligence and doing his homework, and we'll present that data. And not just talking to Woodbridge, we'll talk to other municipalities where there's information out there. But from a legal requirement standpoint, if there's no public safety hazard that's posed, and we'll get that information, frankly, to me, it's a conforming application that is one that will stand.
Well, I'd recommend that they reach out to Bayonne, because there's been some pretty specific information with that facility that has been provided to me. I would reach out to Vineland as well, not just Woodbridge, which is owned by the same people, but again, I think...
Chief, can you confirm that?
And with all due respect, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, I would appreciate that. I think the residents of Hillsborough would rather hear it from our chief of police rather than anecdotally from you. Okay.
Again, I'm just asking that we do the research that's necessary.
Peter, hold on 1 second. Chief, can you just confirm that you're reaching out to Bayonne, Woodbridge? Okay. And okay. So I think that clears up your question, correct?
No, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Anyone else on this matter on the left side?
On this matter?
Or on all public matter? Thank you.
Just checking.
Hi, Michelle Eilbacher. I'm Wilverton Lane. I just had a question about the area around there, Doherty Park. And again, I'm trying to clear up rumors, because after I left this meeting, I did quite a bit of research on everything. So the park, it has baseball fields. I think it has three soccer fields. It's got the picnic area, a roller hockey rink, heated restrooms, and all of this stuff. It's 150 feet from this facility, okay? My daughter is 8. She plays baseball right now, so we're not into softball. She prefers to play with the boys right now. But next year, she will play with the boys, with the girls on softball. And they do play at Doherty Park, which is a great concern to me. If this goes through, do we have any plans to do something about the location, maybe put something around there? Like, has there any thought been given that there's a park right there?
I'll comment on that real quick. So that's one of the biggest reasons that I reached out to our Assemblyman, Jack Chitterelli, Donna Simon, and Senator Bateman, because again, my concern is about the home rule on this application. The fact that you citizens of Hillsborough elect individuals, you have some sort of, you have a belief, a true belief, that we'll be able to weigh in on all applications. And when the state of New Jersey in 2011 took our home rule away, it took our ability to weigh in on applications, period. And I believe that's wrong from a constitutional standpoint. I don't know if others agree with me, but me personally, I think that's wrong. And knowing that an application, this property, this project, could have went anywhere commercially or industrial viable in town. That means, think of where the CVS is in town, located around numerous residential properties.
My home.
Your home, I didn't know that. But good example. They could have opened up there, where the Chicken Holiday was, for example, or is. The way that the statute is done. And I firmly believe that that's wrong, that the state took our rights away. And I'm sure you agree that as well. That's,
I did. I looked, when I printed the law, 77 pages, and I went through it with a highlighter. I called the Assemblyman's office numerous times, just asking questions, because I'm a former high school teacher, and, I don't understand a lot of this stuff, but what I did find in the law was very disturbing to me, a lot of aspects of it. Part was the taxes, that where it gets distributed, not to the schools, according to the law. And I find it interesting, that aspect when we're struggling to make ends meet in certain areas and privatizing and all of that. None of that money is going towards, this business is not contributing to our schools, and as a town, why would we want a business like that that's not contributing to our schools?
No, but obviously,
Or to
knowing that you
us.
did your homework,
I
you
did a
know
lot
that
of homework.
they really, I mean, the legislation and the state of New Jersey, when the legislation was signed into law, took away almost all of our rights, including how we distribute the taxes. I mean, they really said that if this business entity wants to come into town, it's deemed legal. And that's why there's a lot of misconceptions regarding Greenbrook, because people don't understand that the law was changed in between. And when the
Right.
residents
I put
came
that
out.
in my
No,
email,
No,
yeah.
you understand. I'm saying that I know numerous residents have said, well, why don't we publicly push to fight this like Greenbrook did? And again, the truth of the matter is, as you know, because you did your homework, is that they
And it
changed the
was
law.
unanimous.
And it was because of that. I personally believe it was because of that. I know that came up in some of the testimony. I believe in the hearings they spoke about that when I was looking around, is that they had so much pressure from the municipality and that they decided that they had to change the law. And now it's taken away our rights. And, I very happily stand, and we're going to pass a resolution, hopefully tonight, urging that the legislature take swift action to give us back our home rule and give us an opportunity to discuss the application before a planning board, for a board of adjustment, or whatever board, so that we have a chance to talk about it. Because that's the reality, is they took away any chance for us to talk about it. Passing a pilot program isn't allowing us to weigh in on whether we support or oppose an application. It allows us to get our property taxes that we deserve, and that's it.
Mayor, may I just say something really quickly?
Please.
Just want to let you know, the application is where you want to address that, if they want to fence it, because you want some barrier in between.
Well, there should be something, maybe you can clarify this too. I don't know if I heard a rumor, so I'm trying to find the correct information, that the business has made arrangements with local area around there for parking purposes. And does that affect parking?
No. It is not with the park. From what we understand, from what they testified on, or spoke on, I should say, they weren't testifying. What they spoke on at the last hearing was that they had an arrangement with, I believe, the property that's immediately back of them. There's a printing business, I think they mentioned.
Okay.
Is where, and I forget the name of that road.
Well, there's Park Ave.
Park. So at the end of Park Ave, I believe there's a printing business there, and that's where they arranged an agreement for additional parking,
Okay.
if
There's a couple
necessary.
of houses on that street as well.
I believe there's two or
Like two
three.
or three.
Is it three?
I drove
Okay.
down it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, there is. But
Yeah.
my point was, is you can address the applicant at the time. If you
Okay.
if you make it to the meeting, if you don't, I mean, you can send your question to the mayor, he could probably ask for you.
We could pass it on.
If they do have a plan, because usually this comes before the planning board to everyone's comments. Usually when there's an applicant coming in as a business or whatever, if you need permits, anything that's changing the facility itself, will go to the planning board. But since the state took this away and does now have to come directly from the race commission, he's technically the applicant, so you want to address that there, if you get a chance to do that.
And they do take written comment, from what I've been told, after the meeting as well.
They told that they're not obligated to do it, but they've done it in the past,
Yeah, that's
and
what
they
I've
don't see,
heard.
that's what the deputy director
Yeah.
told me.
Yeah, that
That's a
they,
good question, and we can certainly address it, maybe
Yeah.
mayor, make a mental
Yeah.
note, and...
no, I'll be happy,
find out.
and I encourage you to come out on the 16th and to ask them, because
I will.
what we've seen is that a lot of time applicants also want to put up fences around things.
Yeah, usually they do.
You know.
Actually,
If
let's
there's some
clarify
kind-
that since we have it on the record. So what did we find out? You can submit questions ahead of time,
Well-
or only at the meeting, then they'll get back
No,
to you?
from what I've been told, and we're going to work to get this in writing, is that their hearing that takes place, they don't render a decision that day.
Right.
They have either, I believe, between 30 and 60 days for them to, Michelle's
have-
got it, she's ready.
Well, I have it,
But
because I spoke with,
yeah. But I believe it's between 30 and 60 days
30,
that they
60
have.
days to...
render a decision
Render a
and
decision,
accept
and then
comment.
14 days to the Attorney General.
Actually, I was just
Yes.
talking to the questions.
Just the questions, I believe you can submit your comment, but I would urge that if you want your questions answered, to attend this May meeting if it takes place in May. There's no application made, so what we've been told is that it's going to be in May, but there's no application. So until there's an application, we just think it might be in May.
Okay, so when I called, I spoke with the deputy director. He led me to believe the application had been filed. The timeline that he gave me was mid-May. was what, he said he didn't have a date, but that was...
Yeah, there's no set date yet.
Yeah, let me just,
No, I know there's no date, but he led me to believe that the application was filed, and then they have 30 to 60 days to review it, and then to announce the meeting and to have a meeting about it. And then...
let me just ask one question.
Yeah, as of Thursday, the application wasn't filed. They were hopeful to put it in on Friday, but we are looking, a letter I sent to the racing commissioner is that we had given them hopefully the week of May 5th, that we were hopeful in the evening, but nothing has come back yet. They said as of Thursday late, they hadn't received the application, and that they would let us know about a date and when they received it.
Okay, so then it would probably be later than May 5th, because they have 30 days. That's what they
We're
said.
still hopeful.
Okay.
By the
within
next
30
meeting,
now.
we should be able to give you an update.
Okay.
Yeah, and when we do know the meeting, we're going to put it out through our e-news and other venues that we have to make sure the public is well aware of when it's going to take place.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the side of the room? Okay.
I do have one quick question, if they're going to move on from this topic, if you would allow me. They'll be brief, I promise.
There's other people that haven't spoken yet.
Let me go
though,
to this
so-
side, and then I'll come, if it's a brief question, let me go to this side, and then I'll come back for a brief question. Anyone on the right side? Yes.
Tuyan Lei on Ivy Lane. And since the last time I was here, one of the township committee members wanted me to state that I was a candidate. So I want to just do that for the record, and I also have my name tag, just to, full disclosure. Okay, so I have a few questions. Will the repeal of Bill A1705 have an impact on any current OTW projects, such as the one in Hillsborough?
I think it depends when it gets passed into law. I think if there's a special session or a hearing and it gets signed into law prior to the application being submitted, absolutely.
But if the application is to be submitted, as Mr. Ferrera stated...
I think what I would do is I will be happy to check with Assemblyman Chitterelli, who would reach out to the Office of Legislative Services, which is nonpartisan, and we'd have to render a decision on that.
Okay, yeah, because I would think that
Like any
anything
other law,
that's
that would
already
change.
under, excuse me?
It would be like any other law that would change in the middle of something going on. I'm sure it happens pretty frequently. But I think the right
Yeah.
answer would be through what Doug had said.
Yeah, we'll reach out,
Assemblyman.
we will ask someone Chitterelli, who's
Right,
sponsoring the
right.
I think
legislation.
it's not
to
really a
reach out.
question we can answer, because we don't set the legislation.
No, I
So we have no
understand,
idea.
but because it's, it seems like the timing is not very good. So the question is, what is the point of the resolution then?
Because we want to get the bill passed as soon as possible.
Okay.
And I
But
think you would
then-
agree that
then
you would,
wouldn't you
wouldn't that
have-
be a good idea?
Well, shouldn't we have proposed this earlier then?
Again, I think as we've seen the process move forward, we became more concerned about the lack of home rule that we've had. So that's why, again, working with the Assemblyman and our legislative delegation in Trenton, we've asked them to work to get this bill signed into law. We're sending this resolution, which is going to go out to the State League of Municipalities, the Governor, Lieutenant Governor, Senate President Steve Sweeney, and Speaker Vincent Prieto, asking them to take immediate action on this, because it's important not only to myself, but to the residents of Hillsborough who had their rights taken away when this bill was passed into law. That's the reality and that's the facts.
I'm just curious, how much faster do you think that should have been done?
Well, as soon as you knew about it.
So as soon as we knew about the application, we should have went ahead to legislation? Is that what you're saying? We should have went back in December to pass a resolution?
Well, I
think
guess
give the mayor
as
and
a
the
township
credit
committee...
from the last 2 weeks, working with the assemblyman, and he has to also go to the senator and the other assembly people too. You have to understand you're working with government when these things happen, okay? I know you want instant gratification for everything that you desire, but it just doesn't work that way. And when we have to go and we have to get other people involved, we also need to get them on board and they have to be okay with it. So there's an approval process and everything in government.
All right,
And
let
it
me
just doesn't
ask-
happen in 24 hours.
Let me ask you this. What made you do this now?
Again, as I mentioned, as we were moving through the pilot process, it became increasingly clear to us about the lack of home rule that we have over this process and this progress of the application. And the more we learned about the application and the way that we would have almost zero opportunity to address the Racing Commission and the Attorney General, it became clear that the law is fundamentally flawed. And as you move forward and you see a law is fundamentally flawed, the best thing to do is to reach out to your legislative delegation. So again, we reached out to our legislative delegation. We asked them to take immediate action, and that's why you're going to see a resolution later on here that I hope the entire committee supports, asking Steve Sweeney, Vincent Prieto, and all the members of the New Jersey legislature to take immediate action on this.
Well, there are residents in town who, when they learned about this, started doing their homework and read the legislation and went to look at McLuhan's, or, you know, they did their homework, and I'm just wondering, why are you doing it now when you knew ahead?
Oh, no, I did my homework before, thank you. But what we've done is, again, the more we learned about the way the Racing Commission operates, we said we need to make a change, and that's what we're trying to do. If you don't believe that there should be change, that's fine, but we support the change. I hope I'm going to have the committee's support this evening. I'm talking, please. I hope I have the entire committee's support to make sure this resolution moves forward. And again, I will be happy to make phone calls, which I will do, to Senate President Steve Sweeney and Vincent Prieto's office, asking that they also do the legislation. That's the reality of what's happening.
I just wanted to understand
thank
the
you.
process. And then the next question was that the McLuhan's Facebook page they updated it this morning, and they said that the job fairs will be held in Jersey City. And when they came on March 25th, they said they would be bringing jobs to Hillsborough. So how do you bring jobs to Hillsborough if the job fair is in Jersey City? And it specifically states job fairs for the 2 new locations, including Hillsborough.
I think that is a great question to ask them when they come on before, and they present before the New Jersey Racing Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the Senate? Please state your name for the record. Just in case. For the viewers at home. You're not going to be able to do the rock climbing at the Sauerland if you're hobbling around like that.
Vietnam veterans in America, they played a lot of 60s music.
As long as you had fun.
Susan Gulliford on Club Road. I have a question on the resolution for this evening, to reinstate home rule, repealing the bill 1705.
If it's on the resolution, then we got to wait for the resolution part.
Okay. I guess my question was...
This is for item not on the agenda.
Okay, so I can ask a question then?
Absolutely.
Okay, because I saw 6 revisions, and I didn't understand why 1 was only mentioned. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else on this side of the room? Peter, if you could be extremely brief with your question.
My question is actually on the resolution. So.
Okay, then. Any other matters not on the agenda? Seeing none, we're going to move on to considerations this evening. And first up is a resolution retaining the service of Granville M. McGee, Esquire, as a hearing officer for the Township of Hillsborough effective January 28, 2014, under a non-fair and open selection process. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
Committeeman Delcor?
Yes.
Committeewoman Macaulay?
Yes.
Committeeman Sirachi?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Yes. Okay, resolution number 2, awarding a non-fair and open contract with Fitch and Associates for an EMS systems evaluation of the Hillsborough Rescue Squad and Hems Corporation in an amount not to exceed $31,900 and with an additional amount not to exceed $3,190 for out-of-pocket expenses. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais?
So, Mayor, just taking the opportunity to have a consultant take a look at overall the process that we have with our emergency services to ensure that we're providing the best services possible to the residents. I think it's a process that's overdue and one that I think will be beneficial when we get the final report.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor?
Yes.
Committeewoman Macaulay?
Yes?
Commitment Sarachi?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bishop?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Yes. Resolution number 3, increasing the 2014 temporary emergency budget. We have not done a temporary budget resolution that encompasses all the salary and wage line items for all departments since the resolution done at the reorganization meeting. Many departments are running short on other expense funding as well. Additionally, the payments are due for the annual PERS and PFRS contributions, as well as for the first band payment. This resolution stays well within the budget that we recently reviewed and ensures that we will be sufficient funds until the budget is adopted on May 27th, 2014. May we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais?
Mayor, just to clarify a little bit, this will certainly take us through at least the end of May. We do intend to introduce the budget at our next meeting, and then, as you know, to public hearing the second meeting in May. So this will fund us through that period and ensure that the departments have enough operating process to get through on a temporary basis.
Any other comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
Commitment Delcor?
Yes.
Commitment Macaulay?
Yes?
Commitment Sarachi?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bishop?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Yes. Resolution number 4, authorizing Mills and Schunering LLC to prepare and submit a grant application for the Vanderveer Harris House Historical Preservation to the Somerset County Historic Preservation Trust in an amount not to exceed $6,000. The historic architect for the Vanderveer House, Mills and Schunering, prepared a proposal for Phase 3 repair and restoration of the Vanderveer House. This resolution authorized Mills and Schunering to provide administration services to the Phase 3 urgent repairs and restorations funded through the Somerset County Historic Grant. Can be completed. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
Commitment Delcor?
Yes.
Commitment Macaulay?
Yes?
Commitment Sarachi?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Bishop?
Yes.
Mayor Thompson?
Yes. Resolution number 5, calling on the New Jersey State Legislature to reinstate home rule by repealing Bill number A1705, which became the Public Laws of 2011, Chapter 26, NJSA 5:5, 151.11, which entitled Revises Various Off-Track Wagering Provisions of the Off-Track and Account Wagering Act. As I stated earlier, I partnered with our legislative team of Senator Bateman, Assemblyman Chitterelli, and Assemblywoman Donna Simon to call on the New Jersey Legislature to reinstate home rule with respect to the local government entity with the ability to grant or deny off-track wagering facilities that operate within its borders. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais?
Save them afterwards.
Okay. Any comments from the floor? We'll start on this side and move over as usual. And just state your name again for the record. Thank you, Peter.
Peter Malice, 56 Wallace Boulevard. Just for the record, I have no plans to run for office, so just for the record. I think a question was earlier as far as the timing of obviously there's a potential that you guys are going to ask for this resolution tonight and approve it. I think one of the questions was, once you put in your filing for the resolution, I guess there's some timeline as far as them filing their application and the home rule coming, back into effect as far as us trying to pass a resolution. So if I heard this correctly, is it if they file the application?
No, to be clear.
Really, the repeal isn't available? Is that accurate?
No, to be clear, we're going to reach out to the Office of Legislative Services, which, again, nonpartisan of the New Jersey State Legislature, which would have to really give a determination ruling of how that would work out. So what I could do is, once we get that answer, I'll be happy to email you. I do believe I have your email address. And again, hopefully, we will be able to discuss that also at the April 16th meeting. But we're going to have to get a determination from OLS.
So, to further that, and this was my question from earlier, let's say, it doesn't matter when they put the application in, that this can still move forward, it can be repealed. But let's say it's not repealed until after they're already in operation and open. At that point, am I making the right assumption that there's nothing else we could do at that point, even if they were to repeal the law?
If they repeal the law...
After the fact. After they're already in operation.
I guess we have to look at OLS. I really need a determination. I'm speaking on a matter of law. that we don't have a determination on. I imagine if they repealed it, this company would want to have a hearing, either whether that would take place through our planning board or another board, or maybe it would be this entity. I don't know. Again, I have to see the determination from OLS, but I think that would certainly give us our shot at home rule. So until I get that opinion, until we see that opinion, I don't feel comfortable commenting.
I think the issue is just that the same body that approved the law will ultimately determine the action they're going to take. So, I mean, you know, we can move forward with an appeal to the legislature, but at the end of the day, it's the legislature that's going to decide how they want to proceed with the law or repeal process. So it's a question for the legislature. We will have representatives at the hearing next week, so it's a question to ask them. We're just not in a position because we can't speak for them. We don't know what their intent is as far as any action they may take.
But we will reach out for an answer on the OLS question.
Just lastly, is, I guess, I don't know if he's an assemblyman, but Christopher Bateman, will he be at the...
Senator Bateman, you know what, I believe we reached out to his office and I haven't heard yet. But we can...
Do we have any idea? I mean, he obviously voted yes the first time. I mean, why all of a sudden he's got a change of heart? I mean, I'd like to have some public record of why he's changed his mind, you know,
So
a couple years later.
just two things real quick. The hearing that we're having is not a public hearing. It's an information session. So I encourage you to reach out to Senator Bateman's office and ask him that. And I'll read.
I mean,
no,
anyone here knows. I mean, he hasn't made
We
any...
won't speak on his behalf.
Yeah,
I'm
No, I'm not asking you to speak on his...
I didn't ask him that.
I'm wondering if he's made any public comments or any public
Not to my
reasoning of
knowledge.
why he's changed
Yeah, and I
his
just want to
mind.
be clear, there's been no public disclosure that says that anyone at the legislature is going back on the law that they've made. We are asking them to revisit it, and that's a question that you can raise to them, but
But he's attached his name to that resolution.
That's correct.
Yeah, I would just think, since we don't want to speak on his behalf, I would encourage you to reach out. I've not seen any public statements.
I'm just asking, that's why I was asking, is if he's made any public statements that, you know, that I haven't seen.
Besides the press release that I think you saw as well. That'd be the only comments that I've seen. But again, I would reach out to his office. It's always been my experience that he responds pretty quickly.
Thanks again.
Yep, no problem. Any other comments on this resolution before us? Again, if you could state your name for the record. No running.
Susan Gulliford. Okay, I have a question about the resolution.
Please.
Calling on the New Jersey State Legislature to reinstate the home rule section. Like Ms. Albacher, I have been attempting to plow through these laws, and it seemed as though I found the explanatory statement had 6 revisions that had gone in there to the original one. Is the resolution going to be only asking regarding the home rule section that's in there? Or are you going to be asking for the entire change, all the revisions to be revisited?
I mean, so two-part. One, I think if there's a total rollback of the law, it would accomplish our goal, the same as if they only give us back our home rule. So either would be preferred by myself. I have not seen the physical legislation that will be introduced by our Legislative 16 delegation. So I don't know what's specific, but essentially, we're supporting what they're doing, but I'm fine with a rollback of 1705 or with a give back of the home rule piece. If the legislature grants us either one of those, I think it would do what the residents want more than anything, and that's for Hillsborough to have a chance to decide whether or not this project should move forward.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. Any other comments on this item? Okay, seeing none. Any other comments from the dais, I should say? Anyone wants to add something? Nope. Then move on to a roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeeman McCauley.
Yes?
Committeeman Sirachi.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett. Mayor Thompson.
Yes. Still trying to demote me. Number 6, resolution awarding 2014 road maintenance materials contract. The township sought sealed bids for various road improvement materials that are used by the Department of Public Works throughout the year. These materials are used for road maintenance throughout the year and on as needed basis. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Committeeman Sirachi.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. Number 7, resolution approving the appointment of Officer David Ure as a corporal in the Patrol Division for the remainder of 2014 to replace Corporal Brian McCarron effective April 7, 2014, at a base salary of $105,042. Corporal appointments are for one-year terms. This appointment is for the remainder of this year. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? Seeing none, roll call.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Committeeman Sirachi.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. Moving on to consent agenda. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais?
Just a quick comment, we have requested that we move full employment status to Caitlin Davis in the Township Planning and Zoning Department. My understanding is she's doing a great job there. I wanted to say congratulations to her permanent employment. And also to Fred Tenor. He's been with the township for many years, but he has moved from the Recs Department over to Public Works, and now we're making him a permanent employee there. So I want to say thank you to Fred for all of his hard work as well, and congratulate him on his full-time status.
Thank you, and I echo those comments. Seeing no other comments here. Any comments on the floor? If not, roll call.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Committeeman Sirachi.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. Claims list, we have a motion to approve claims list 2014-07.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Committeeman Delcor.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes?
Committeeman Sirachi.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Burchett.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson.
Yes. That concludes our regular meeting this evening. May I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.